Happiness time. Happiness time. Time to recall and live and be happy. Thunder calls us o'er the tumult of life's wild and restless sea. Day by day its sweet voice soundeth, saying, Christian, follow me. We're talking about happiness, and we're having a good time doing it. And we are using as our guide Brother Lawrence, who was a monk in the 1600s in the Carmelite order in Paris. And he perfected the simple practice of the presence of God. The simple practice of the presence of God. You do everything in the presence of God. And because God is so vast and so complicated and so complex and so beautiful and so wondrous and so far beyond us, we understand God as what? As happiness. The simple practice of the presence of happiness. We have schooled ourselves to live continually in the presence of happiness. We have three guides. One is Buddha Gautama, one is Brother Lawrence, and one is Jesus the Christ. Praise ye the Lord, the Almighty, the King of creation. Praise him, my soul, for he is thy strength and salvation. All ye who hear, to his temple draw near, join us in glad adoration. Isn't that a nice phrase? Applause. Join us in glad adoration. Join us in glad adoration. I put this on microcassette because I thought it would be easier for us to talk around it than if it's on paper.
That's the thing that brings us the greatest pleasure, right?
What's the thing that brings us the greatest pleasure? The greatest joy? Happiness.
He dwelt with God in love.
He dwelt with God in love.
So do we, in love and in happiness, in joy.
And so do we, in love and in happiness and in joy.
In peace, in tranquility, in serenity.
Okay. In peace and in tranquility and serenity.
The vision he has seen in the unchanging light of faith pales the attractions offered by the world. There's no question about that.
Yeah. The attractions offered by the world. They don't give happiness, do they, folks? They really don't. Do they, Amadeus? Huh? Do they, you great big 30-pound feline, Felix domestica?
Doing what we're doing right now.
Now that's very important. We've said over and over again that we stay in the minute that we are in. We don't go to the past, we don't go to the future, we stay in the present. Not only is it the presence of God, but it's the presence of the moment. And if you keep the moment perfect that you're in, then all the other moments in the past, they will all add up to have been perfect, and all of the moments in the future, they will be perfect. Because you're taking care of this very moment, the moment that you're in right now, this very present moment. He schooled himself to live continually in the presence of God.
Present, joyous, satisfied, and going to that open house of Kilsel's on Sunday.
No. That was happiness? No way. No way. Going to a restaurant, that's happiness? No way.
The visions he has seen in the unchanging light of faith
I don't know what that means.
pales the attractions offered by the world. Yeah, no question.
I don't know what that means, but I know that the contemplation that we have transcends all other pleasures. I know that. Let's take a moment. Let's take a moment by this sweet clock right here. And we will have a moment of perfection. Here we go. We declare this to be a moment of perfection. We declare this to be a moment without any self, without any ego, without any desire, without any craving, without any envy, without any vindication. We declare this to be a moment of peace. This is our moment. This moment is before God. The ingenuity of God, the ready invention of God. This moment is before the beauty of God. This is under the blue sky, the dome of God's earth, and under the dome of God's millions of galaxies, billions of galaxies. This is a moment of serenity. This is a moment of divine union, of emergence, or rather emergence into the absolute. This moment surpasses all other pleasures. What do we do? Go over a moment? No. Let's see what else Brother Lawrence says to us.
He longs for not else because he has his heart's desire.
He longs for naught else because he has his heart's desire. Well, yes. What is our heart's desire? Union with happiness.
So far as one in this life can. Well, I think you can have your heart's desire 100% in this life.
Oh, I see. Monsieur Beaufort said that he had his heart's desire as much as one can in this life, and Glendora said, oh, well, you can have your heart's desire fullest in this life. It's not 60%, 70%, 80%, 90%, it's 100%. I say so, don't you?
Monsieur Beaufort. There is for him no fear, since nothing on earth can injure him.
No fear, because no thing on earth can injure him. I feel that way. I really feel that way. We have happiness. That's it. We have it. We've declared it. We have it. And nothing on earth can injure us. And there isn't anything to fear. There's nothing to fear. Because we know now. We have illumination. We have elucidation. We know that happiness is the way. And we know that that's our job. There's something to fear if we don't do it, though. As long as we do it, we know that we have it.
Turn his heart from the love of God.
Nothing.
Wow.
What did he say?
He's Adam. Turn his heart from the love of God.
Nothing can turn his heart from the love of God.
He's adamantine.
He's adamantine.
Incapable of being dissolved.
He's incapable of being dissolved, broken,
Or penetrated.
or penetrated. That is we. Nothing can penetrate our happiness, right? Shake on it. You and I will shake on it. Remember, this in the beginning was a meeting of the minds between you and me, that I would do all I could to make you happy, and you would, thank you, would do what you could to make me happy. And on that we will be adamantine, or adamantine, unbroken, incapable of being dissolved, incapable of being penetrated. Our happiness stands. Stand up for Jesus. Stand on its strength alone. Immovable.
He need solicit no boon of peace, for his soul lives in tranquility.
He needs solicit no boon of peace, for his soul lives in tranquility. You and I have that, don't we? We have tranquility. Let us declare it. Let us take a minute. We declare this to be a moment of tranquility. You and I are together in happiness. We have found the truth. The truth is that our job is happiness. We see God as happiness. And we know that we are here to be happy and to spread happiness. And we do not want anything for ourselves. We do not want any, let's say we have no cravings. We have no ego. We have surrendered self to the will of God, and that will is happiness. We have peace, we have tranquility, we have serenity, we have poise, we have strength, we have elegance of manner, we have excellence of mind, and we have used up our minute. It's as easy as that, isn't it?
Isn't it beautiful?
Isn't it beautiful?
Conscious of a world designed for good. Isn't it lovely?
What did he say? Conscious of a world designed for good?
Lives in tranquility. Isn't it beautiful? Conscious of a world designed for good. Isn't it lovely?
Yes, I love it.
The perturbance of anger he knows not. Thank you, Miss Beaufort. Thank you. You draw a great picture. It's page 290, folks.
That's page 290 in the book Men Who Have Walked with God, written by Sheldon Cheedy, published in 1945 by Alfred Knox.
Make clear to Beaufort that the only occurrence that could bring sorrow to him would be loss of the sense of God's presence.
Yeah,
But, he added,
that's the only thing that can upset us, is loss of the presence of happiness. And we will not let that happen, will we? Well, how are we going to do this? Just by what we're doing right now. By declaring over and over again that our raison d'etre, our reason for being, is to give happiness. And that's the only thing that's going to keep us happy, is to give happiness.
apprehended no danger in that direction, being aware
was no danger that he could ever not be aware of God's completeness, God's goodness.
Yeah. We see no evil. No. We're aware of God's complete goodness. First of all, God is complete, meaning God is everything there is. And God is good. Back to our first step. God is everything there is. God is good. There is no evil unless you are obtuse enough to allow it into your life. Inadmissible. Evil is inadmissible.
Evil is inadmissible.
You do not allow it entrance.
Do
You do not.
not allow it entrance. Evil is inadmissible. Do not allow it entrance into your life.
Entrance. It is not worthy of being admitted.
It is not worthy of being admitted. Only happiness. Knock, knock. Who's there? Happiness. Okay, you admit that. Anything else, you don't admit into your life. It is not worthy of entrance into your life.
Of being acknowledged.
Do not acknowledge it.
Of being accepted as valid.
What? Oh, being accepted as valid. That's right.
Admitted. Of being acknowledged. Of being accepted as valid. Of assent. Hear no evil, speak no evil, see no evil, think no evil, and do no evil. On the chapter of Brother Lawrence by Sheldon Seeley,
Page 291.
published by Knox in 1945. Brother Lawrence, quote unquote, was the name in religion of Nicholas Herman.
His real name was Nicholas Herman, and Brother Lawrence was his name in religion.
Lorraine. Nothing is known of his early life except that he was born in the year 1611 and that he came of a family humble circumstances. As a youth,
Humble
he fought in the
circumstances.
wars waged in the name of the Holy Roman Emperor against the Protestant sovereign of the North. It is supposed that he served in the army of Wallenstein in Germany. He was severely wounded, and after his recovery, he walked always with a pronounced limp.
But he knew the practice of the presence of God, the simple practice of the presence of God. Now, if you're happy, you don't lie, steal, and cheat. If you're happy, you're honest to yourself, you're honest to others, and you're honest to God. If you're happy, you eat right. You don't eat animals. If you're happy, you don't cause the suffering of animals. You let them be. Let them live their own lives. How would you say you're coming on sanctification? We could have a moment of sanctification right now, couldn't we? We could indeed. We could declare it. We could. How do you do that? You just take a moment. This clock will give us a moment. And in this moment, you can go a whole moment without any thought of yourself. You can go a whole moment about without any thought of evil. You can go a whole moment being happy about creation. You can go a whole moment of being one with God, a whole moment of divine union. You didn't think you could do that, did you? Well, you can, and you're doing it right now. You're not thinking about yourself, and you're not filled with any desire, and you don't have any craving, and you don't have any envy, and you don't have any self, and you don't have any covetousness. You're having a whole moment of selflessness, a whole moment of merges with the Absolute. You're having a whole moment of joy. Look at that. You didn't think you could do that. We've done it 2 or 3 times. Let's see what Brother Lawrence says. Can you hear the cardinal? Cardinal bird, that is.
About the time of his army service, when he was 18 years of age, he experienced his first revelation from God.
He experienced his first revelation from God about the time of his army experience. He was 18 years old. And he saw a tree in the wintertime with no blossoms on it, no leaves on it, just stark. And then he saw in his mind what it would be in the summertime, filled with leaves, filled with fruit. And he knew the wonder of God. That was his first.
Lifeless trees, except that we have some beautiful evergreens. As he gazed upon the trunk and branches, to which all life
And then, of course, came years of doubt
he experienced a vision
and years of wonder
of the tree as it would be in summer.
and years of straying. But then he went into the monastery.
With flowers, then fruit, and there in
And the monastery himself really didn't help him get to the presence of God. It was really his own contemplation.
that never left him in being at all. Reflecting upon the leafless tree and God's way with it, he was then and there, he said, converted, quote unquote. He felt that he had been specially favored in the revelation, and he henceforth was a God.
Have you ever had that experience? He felt that he was specially favored in this revelation. We are. We are right now. You and I are specially favored in this revelation. What do you want most in life? You want most to be a great person? You want most to reach your full potential? I guess there's only one way to do it, and that's to spread happiness and to spread joy and to live continually in the presence of God.
Struggled to loosen the ties of the world upon him. Yes, and that means, of course, selfishness.
Loosen the ties of the world upon you.
A great many years later, Brother Lawrence told Mr. Beaufort that he had been kindled with such a love for God. How nice.
He had been kindled with such a love for God. It's easy to feel that today, isn't it? It's easy to feel that any day. But right now, the blue sky, and the electromagnetic radiation of heat and light. And that cardinal bird out there in the bushes, he's feeling it.
He was not sure it had been increased through 4 decades of living, 4 decades, 40 years. When he was 17, so it's 57.
He was 57 years old at the time.
First, lifted upon my soul the facts of God, unquote. From the hour of conceiving that, quote, notion and esteem, unquote, of God's power, the notion and esteem of God's power, wisdom and greatness. I love you, God. Quote, he had no other care but to reject scrupulously every other thought in which
Reject scrupulously every other thought. He didn't stress so much the power of God as he did the goodness of God and the love of God.
that he might perform each act for the love of God. Oh, great.
Perform each act for the love of happiness. See how much happiness you can put into each moment.
Beautiful, Brother Lawrence. In the years following the conversion, he worked as a manservant for a time. He was a footman in the establishment in Paris of one Monsieur Flaubert, described as, quote, the treasurer, unquote. It is not unreasonable to believe that Nicholas Herman felt a certain fitness in
Being a servant.
dedicating himself to a servant's world. He said it of himself as regards his employment as footman that, quote, he was a great awkward fellow who broke everything, unquote.
What do you think about being a servant? I think being a partner is better, don't you? Being a partner is better than being a servant.
Goodness of heart, I love it. Goodness. Such pretty animals, God. Brother Lawrence was intensely human. His
Intensely human.
search around for 292 right here. Manner was open and frank, so that one immediately had confidence in him. Yes. Yes.
I find that true, don't you? That when you live your life to the fullest happiness, that people immediately have confidence in you.
A lover of God.
A lover of God. Do these phrases do anything for you?
92. How long he was in domestic service, how well he discharged his task as servitor, whether he succeeded in coordinating his primary business of serving God with his duty to Monsieur Flaubert, all this is unreported. The first datable event.
Service to God, yes, goes with service to people and service to animals.
Entry the Carmelite Monastery in 1666.
1666, he went into the Carmelite monastery.
He was 55 years old.
There were evidences that the monastery worked against his being in the presence of the God, and he sort of got around that. He found his own way. This is the thing. Find your own way. And how do you do that? Through solitude and through meditation and through contemplation. So, another half hour is over. And I'm sorry that television is run by the clock, but it is. I've been doing television for 60 years, and that is the way it is. It's run by the
not
clock.
unusual for saints to magnify the
Have a good time
transgressions
contemplating.
of
Have a
their
good time
earthly
meditating.
brethren,
Have a good time in solitude.
their
And have an
very
ebullient
purity
time
and holiness
in being
of
happy
their
and
existence
giving
after
happiness to others.
illumination. Are we purity and holiness? Have we had our illumination? Just to boost it. You have to charge it. We've been away from it for a few days. And it's been different days than it was. The very purity and holiness of their existence after illumination and declaration makes earlier lapses, be they only pleasure taken in pleasant food, or trim clothing, or innocent personal love, seem evil and monstrous. The age was one of violence and of easy morals, on the one hand,
Welcome. Welcome to another half hour together. Another hour of happiness. And we're taking our cues from Brother Lawrence, who was a monk. In the 1600s, in Paris. And he knew a great thing, folks. He knew a great thing. He knew how to stay in the presence of God. He knew how to give all of his effort, his thought, his activity to God. And you and I translate that as to happiness. God is so big in time and space that our little tiny minds can't take it all in. We can't take it all in. But we know what it is to be happy. And we know what it is to spread happiness. This policeman stopped a young lady. And he said to her, your license says you should be wearing your license says you should be wearing glasses. And she says, well, I have contacts. And he says, well, I don't care who you know.
But a strict, almost fanatic rectitude on the other.
It was a time of easy morals.
So far,
The 1600s.
of strict, almost fanatic rectitude on the other. On the one hand, and monstrous. The age was one of violence and of easy morals.
Are we in an age of violence? And are we in an age of easy morals? That doesn't make us very happy. But our happiness will overcome that unhappiness.
On the one hand, but of strict, almost fanatic rectitude on the other. Brother Lawrence, so far as anyone knows, may have only sinned, or he may have known only those commoner places of the senses, with the fruit of which the average person spends his life.
The average person spends his life doing those things that don't make us happy. And we will spend our life doing what makes us happy and what makes others happy. Yeah, I wish we could help them all.
God help us.
And God help us.
Mentally and spiritually, he experienced a long period of doubt and tribulation. There were 4 years of
Forget the doubt. Forget the tribulation. Just be happy. Every moment, just be happy.
when, despite his dedication of his life to God, despite his effort,
Our dedication is to happiness. You and I made that agreement.
as it were, to God's service, he seemed to
What is God's service? What is service to God? What is our service to God? Right. Joy. Passing it on. With God we go to spread the joy of life. We win each day the happiness of love. We count our blessings. We give thanks. We give joy. Stop, stop the cruel. Stop, stop, stop the cruel. We count 15 blessings every hour. And we rejoice over 4 things every hour. Every quarter of an hour we rejoice about something.
fail miserably, even succumbing to worldly temptation. Though he had, quote, resolved to make the love of God the end of all his actions, unquote. Yeah, make the love of God the end of all his actions. Yeah, make the love of God
What's
the
hard
end
about
of all
that?
his actions. It's that
What's hard about that, folks?
he had trouble in schooling his mind to reject desires and
What's hard about that?
He was plagued, moreover, by fear for his soul's salvation.
Oh, cut it out. Cut it out. No fear, no self. That's the salvation. Happiness is the salvation. But he got over
I was for a
that.
long time certain in my mind, right, Brother Lawrence, that I would be damned, so certain that all the people in the universe could not have persuaded me from it. But I found it possible to reason in this way. I have entered the spiritual life purely for the love of God, attempting to act only in accordance with His will. Nice. Whatever shall become of me, whether I may be lost or saved, I will continue always in the path of God's love. Good boy.
That's it.
Good.
Whatever may become of me, lost or saved, I will continue in the path of God's goodness.
Will continue in the path of God's love and will. At least there will be this to my credit, that until then I have put my every effort into loving and serving Him. The truth,
Loving and serving God. Are you lost on that? Are we lost on that? Loving and serving means just being happy all the time and doing happy things and passing on happy. Happy thought, happy talk, happy help. I don't see anything so hard about that, do you? We just have to remember it.
and my suffering was acute. But at last I saw that it all came about through lack of faith. Serving that, I was freed and entered into a life of continuous joy. Continual joy.
Oh, you might have lost us on that by lack of faith. No, by lack of giving joy. Lack of doing good. Too much self. Too much craving. Too much desire. But once he got over that, he saw the great, great, great exuberance.
About happiness, our life of continued happiness. See?
Oh,
See how it envelops other people?
yes, how it envelops
You're
other
on the
people.
right path to the happiness. I have a song about that.
You do? Oh, okay.
I can find it.
We're looking for a song. I take this to bed with me at night and listen to it as I fall asleep.
Still. Oh, still.
Hold still, we're looking for a song.
Good. What's waiting for? Whoa. With God we go.
To spread the joy
With
of
God
it,
rise.
we win each day
When we say,
the happiness of love. We blessings, sing sweet, thanks we give joy. Stop the cruel, stop the cruel. There's another one too. I wish this I wish this little CD player would play the hymns for you. There's another one too. Teach me thy patience, one with thee, in dearer, closer company, in work that keeps faith sweet and strong, in trust that triumphs over wrong. You want to triumph over wrong? This is the minute to do it. That's all it is. There's all kinds of evil in the world, but you don't think about that. You just do your part. As long as you do your part, everything's fine. Everything's fine. And your part is just spreading that happiness that's in you and passing out the joy. You live continually in the presence of happiness. We're still looking for a song? Win each day the happiness of life. Count our blessings, things we give thanks, we give joy. Stop the cruel, stop the cruel.
There's a footnote here. Reading this date may be an error. I'm not going to read that, folks.
No,
Okay?
we're not going to read that.
Visit .com.
.com is a cat.
Now reading
Page
page 292.
292.
Even as it took him additional years to perfect himself. Perfect himself. That was additionally in his mind about to God. In any uncertainty.
A discipline that would bring his mind about to God.
That's what we need.
That's what we need.
Discipline that would habitually bring our minds about to God.
A discipline that would habitually bring our minds about to God. Now, pure thoughts help a lot. Well, what's an example of pure thoughts? The blue sky is magnificent. The heat from the sun is a joy. It's September. It's fall. We don't have to shovel snow. That's 5 of them. 6. For the richness of this moment. 7. For health. 8. For television. 9. For SDs, as we use them to pass on happiness. 10. For the electrons. 9. How do we get from 10 to 9? 7. For the vigor. 8. For life. 9. For millions of blessings in this moment. 10. We couldn't even begin to count them all. 11. For the fun of being together. 12. For working on a great project. Bringing happiness to everywhere, to every person, to every corner. 13. For the variety of God's creation. 14. For the beauty of it. 15. For colors. 16. For eyes that can see colors. 17. For motion. 18. For the creation of these magnificent bodies. 19. For hearing. 20. For soul-to-soul talks. How's that? That's 20 blessings in this moment. I don't know what time it is, but it's 20 blessings in this moment. 15 blessings and 4 rejoices. To bring myself about the business of God.
In any uncertainty or crisis, quote,
in any uncertainty or crisis, that's good. Not only now as we sit and do it in peace, but if a crisis comes up, bring ourselves about to God.
Okay, we are now reading page 293. Even as it took him additional years to perfect himself, perfect himself, in a discipline that would habitually bring his mind about to God in any uncertainty or crisis.
Did you hear it, honey? To bring ourselves about to God habitually in any uncertainty or any crisis. You and I are going to try to get to be so good at this, staying in the presence of happiness, that in any uncertainty and in any crisis, we will bring ourselves about to happiness. We will turn around and face happiness. Now, I don't think that excludes, you know how big we are on compassion, and you know how big we are on sharing. So that doesn't include moments of disaster. Well, we won't think about that. Anyway, you know. Any uncertainty or any crisis.
Our minds about to God in any uncertainty or crisis. Quote,
bringing our minds about to God.
Myself wholly to God. I renounce for love of him everything that was not me.
I renounce everything that was not God. I renounce everything that is not happiness.
It is this there where no one save God and me in the world.
I don't like that.
As I could, I placed myself as a worshiper before him, fixing my mind upon his holy presence.
Fixing my mind upon his holy presence. Absolutely.
Knowing it when I found it wandering from him. Thus,
that's the thing. We got to keep our mind from wandering away from happiness. This is our job. This is our joy. This is our reason for being. People will say to me over and over again, what's your show about? And I say happiness. And over again the response is identical. Oh, that's nice. Oh, we need that. Why do we let a moment go by without being happy? How can we be given all of these riches and all of this abundance and all of this overflowing wealth and opulence and not be happy? The whole story of Christ telling about the man with the 99 sheep and the one that went off into the mountains. What do? We think about the one that went off from the mountain. We think about the one we lost. Do we be happy and jump up and down with joy with the 99 that we have? You and I won't do that, though, will we? No. We'll always be aware of the good things we have. Didn't we just a minute ago count 20 blessings? An exercise. What?
Painful, yet I persisted through all difficulties.
Painful, but I persisted through all difficulties.
Again, he said that he had been very critical of his own faults.
He had been very critical of his own faults.
But he had refused to be too discouraged about them. He confessed them freely to God.
He refused to be too discouraged about them. He confessed them freely to God. And forget about them. Forget about them, because we're going to have such a good time being happy.
For forgiving them. After confessing, he went back in peace to his trust and love.
After confessing his faults to God, he went back peacefully to his love of God.
Adoration. Unquote.
And adoration.
He came to the conclusion that, quote, it is idle thoughts that spoil all. The mischief begins there, unquote. That's right. What have we said over and over again? Count your blessings, count your pure thoughts. Keep your thoughts pure. What do you think about? Happiness only.
Keep your thoughts pure.
God and goodness.
Think only about happiness, the goodness of God. Don't let that other stuff in.
Summary of the struggle of that period and the coming of the second illumination. Brother Lawrence much later wrote to one of his superiors in the Brotherhood. For the first 10 years, my suffering continued. The feeling that my devotion was not so intense as I wished it to be.
Devotion.
The recollection of my past sinfulness and the great difference between my worthiness and the beauty of God poured upon me. Actually, he's thinking too much about himself, isn't he?
Yes, he is. And see, that thing about the past, we don't go to the past. Okay, we don't go to the future. We stay right here in the present, and we make the present perfect. About the past, so you've done wrong, so you've done bad, you're sorry about it, you wish you hadn't done it, you regret that it harmed that it did, you're ready to take the rap, you'll take the punishment for it, but right now you're doing your job and you're being happy. You're being happy in this minute and you're passing it on. With God we go to spread the joy of life. We win each day the happiness of love. We count our blessings, we give peace, we give joy. Stop, stop the cruel, stop, stop, stop the cruel. That tune was written by Ralph Vaughan Williams.
So maybe I was just making people happy and doing things for people. All this caused me suffering. Often I fell and promptly rose again. When I had accustomed myself to the thought that I should end my days in this struggle, though it did not diminish my trust in my faith, I was changed suddenly. My soul, escaping tiresome discussions, attained a profound inward peace, as if it had come to its own home and place of rest.
Woo! Wait a second. We got to memorize that, so we say it over and over again.
A profound inward peace.
A profound inward peace.
As if it had come to its own home and place of rest. Since that day,
my soul
attained a profound inward peace.
My soul attained a profound inward peace, as if it had come
to its own home
and
place of rest.
You want to hear it again?
That day, I walked before God simply.
Yeah. Let's listen to this a few times.
To its own home attained a profound inward peace, as if it escaping tiresome discussions, attained
My soul
profound inward peace, as if it had come to its own home and place of rest. Since that day, I walked before God simply.
My soul attained a profound inward peace.
Inward peace, as if it had come
As if it had come
to its own home
to its own home,
and place of rest. Since that day, I
a
walked
place of rest. Since that day, I walk simply before God. Way to go, Brother Lawrence. Way to go. Is there anything I can do to help you do that? Is there anything you can do to help me do that? Yes? Just talking to you about it? Just making a record of it? Just preserving it? My soul attained an inward peace. as if it had